the issues. Don't just react. Understand.
Dalam, thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course, I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know. Stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
All right, hello, it's a brother that's shaking the man for back with Melanie Poppy Black Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know what you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weights.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi, guys. You already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers, whatever, live it. Keep watching VOP TV. Thank you.
Hi, people. Jide Albano here.
A very good evening to you and welcome to another exciting episode of the Issues on Voice of the People television. I will bring you the most important and pressing issues shaping our nation today. I am your host, Nenna Ndomdioto. Today on the Issues, we're examining the complexities of Nigeria's politics and governance, from Tinubu denying wooing opposition and renewed call for state police, to acting IGP talking tough as President expresses confidence in his capability. Also, opposition parties reject 2026 Electoral Act and call for amendment. Finally, NAFDAC and union members at loggerheads over sachet alcohol ban. Join us as we break down the fact and provide context to help you stay informed. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll dig deeper into these topics. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. Let's dive straight into today's discussion. President Bola Tinubu has dismissed allegations that he is behind defections from opposition parties to the ruling All Progressive Congress. During an interfaith iftar with senators at the presidential villa, he insisted that he did not coerce or pressure anyone to abandon their political platforms. The president further stated that he would not fault politicians who chose to defect, adding that their decisions could be likened to leaving a sinking ship or a sinking ship. Meanwhile, the president has urged the Senate to amend the Constitution to allow for the establishment of state police. Tinubu said the creation of state police had become necessary, especially at this time when Nigeria's security threats have evolved. The president stressed that decentralized policing would strengthen grassroots security and enable states to respond more swiftly to local challenges. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by three distinguished guests. Here in the studio, we have Mr. Dele Fanimo. He is a senior journalist and a political affairs analyst. Glad to have you join us, sir.
My pleasure.
After a long
while.
After a long while. Okay, glad to have you join us.
My pleasure.
Joining us virtually, we have Mr. Festus Dewey. He is Lagos State Secretary, African Democratic Congress, ADC. Also would have joined us later on in the show, Comrade Edosa Okumbo. He is a former Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Journalists and a public affairs analyst. I'm glad to have you join us, Mr. Festus.
Thank you. Good evening, ma. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Okay, let's start. Let me start with you. The president has said that he's not behind the defections, and we know this is contrary to the opinions of many and even politicians opposition politicians have said that the president has been the one, sort of behind the defection. And now the president is coming out to say he's not in any way behind this, this defection. Do you align with him? Do you align with this statement? Can you go ahead, please? Mr. Festus Duru, can you go ahead and respond?
Okay, thank you very much. The president's statement is a political statement, and it is well known that the ruling party in Nigeria has been able to garner over 30 governors out of the 36 governors we have in the country. Despite that, the ruling party seemed to be uncomfortable in giving Nigeria real-time online voting result transmit. If the ruling party is that popular, I do not think it should have a second thought in introducing real-time online voting for the country. So about the issue of stifling opposition, coercing governors to join the ruling party, you don't expect the ruling party to come out and own it. Ideally, politicians will come to deny. It is a tradition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come to our guest in the studio. Mr. Fandimo, I'm sure that you might have a different opinion, but let me ask you, if the president is saying that he's not behind these defections, would you say that the ruling party is sort of, in a way, subtly stifling the opposition in Nigeria?
Since you said you know what my position is likely to be, and it's like you are preempting me. Or you are putting
I'm not preempting you. We can go ahead,
you are
please.
pigeoning me to a particular position. But in all honesty, I find it ridiculous when parties begin to finger the ruling party, that they are the one trying to destabilize their party and making people jump ship. The question you ask yourself is like a man who meets another man in his bedroom with his wife, and you are now blaming the man in your own house who opens the gate for this strange man to come into your room, who opens the main door before he could have access to your room. There must be at least one door before the room to your door. And so I don't want to. Of course, it would be an icing on the cake for the ruling party if other opposition parties can't fix their home. It's a game for the ruling party. But why did we allow the ruling party, if at all, let us even agree without conceding that the ruling party has, in a way, influenced crisis in other opposition parties? How did you allow it to happen? It means you don't have committed members in your party. These are party members that were ready to jump ship at any time. When this administration came into force, when they came into office, Labour Party used to have senators, members of the House of Reps. Today, none. And so, how do you allow the ruling party, if at all, let us even agree without conceding that the ruling party has, in a way, influenced crisis in other opposition parties? How did you allow it to happen? It means you don't have committed members in your party. These are party members that were ready to jump ship at any time. When this administration came into force, when they came into office, Labour Party used to have senators, members of the House of Reps. Today, none. they all defected. What that tells me is that they never had the love of Labour Party at heart, but they rode on the crest of the obedience and P2B and a tricycle. What do they call this? A tricycle now? I think they call it Marwa.
Okay,
Keke.
okay, okay.
A rider in southern Kaduna took the Labour Party ticket. He only took it for fun, as at the time he took it. But lo and behold, he's in the National Assembly. And I doubt if he has not crossed to another party as we speak. So he just saw an opportunity. He was basically an opportunist. And he cashed in on that opening, found his way to the National Assembly, somebody who transformed from riding keke. And in a space of 3 months, they gave them 160 million worth of SUV. He didn't reject. So how could you tell me that that kind of person was on the ideology and pedestal of Labour Party? The same thing for others. I told anybody that cares to listen here, even last year, that these governors that are jumping ship, it's not as if they like Tinubu or APC, but it's just a question of self-preservation. They want to return. And if they must return, they must also find a ship that is sailing and not a ship that is sinking, like the president said. Because as we speak today, the three strong opposition parties, tell me who is comfortable running his ticket under this political party. Is it Labour Party that has been factionalized? And the Zamfara example is really a sort of Damocle over the head of politicians aspiring to offices in 2027. If Abure signs your form and you win an election, and then Nenadi Usman faction goes to court and the court says it is only Nenadi Usman faction that is recognized. Anybody that had contested under the signature of Abure faction automatically loses that election, even if he had been sworn in. A fresh lawyer from law school does not need sleepless night to win that case. Because that was what happened in Zamfara, the last election. Those who lost the election had gone to their various homes to lick their wounds. But just one judgment, they swept off everybody on that platform. So nobody wants to be part of Titanic in this era, and that's why they are jumping ship. Okay, PDP also checked for PDP. PDP, as we speak today, Wike faction is there, the Turaki faction is there, and up till now, they are still in court. They have not taken a decision on who owns the party. Is it when primary had been conducted and they are giving you a ticket on Turaki, and then tomorrow they say Turaki faction is no longer the recognized faction? Automatically, you have lost your ticket. Now, ADC is in teeters because by 24th of next month, there is likely to be a judgment. The registering ADC along with other political parties. And it is clear that the chances of ADC post that judgment is nearly zero. Because it is clear in the electoral reform that you must attain certain threshold before your party can stand. And ADC does not qualify. That's one. Two, those who call themselves the aborigines of ADC, they are in court. But technically, the judgment is being withheld until the last moment. So, with all this scenario that I've painted, who wants to run on any other ticket apart from APC? That is the only reason why they are jumping ship. It's not that they like APC or they like Tinubu.
Okay, but of course, you mentioned the fact that one of the reasons they are jumping ship is for their own personal ambition or for their political ambition, let's say that way. But the APC has come out to say that there are no automatic tickets for these people. So what's actually the guarantee that they will actually get a second term ticket in APC?
You see, would you have left 50-50 chance to 0 chance? If they're in APC, it's still a 50-50 thing. They may win, they may not win. They may get the ticket, they may not get the ticket. But it is clear that anybody that runs on Labour Party today is 0. It is almost clear that anybody with presidential ticket with PDP today is likely to meet its Waterloo in the court. ADC may be deregistered despite all the noise. So it is better to be in APC, and you know politicians, they are very funny. Some of them, what they want is just a leverage to power. You see somebody contesting as governor, last minute he says he has stepped down. Ab initio, he never wanted to be governor, but he needed to be in the optics so that they can offer him maybe commissioner or minister at the federal level. And these are the things they do. So some of them, they know that they don't have the capacity to be governor of their state, but because they were in a lesser known party, so they gave them the ticket. Automatically, when you are coming to a behemoth like the ruling party, your chances of getting the ticket may be slim, but you also negotiate and pledge your support to whoever is stronger than you, so that when he's beginning to share the spoil of office, you will be remembered. That's all the idea. That's what they are doing.
Okay, let's go back to our virtual guest. Let me come to you first. One of the things Mr. Fanimo said was the fact that some of these opposition parties have opened the doors for what is happening. So would you want to counter that? Do you think that that is what is happening? Or would you want to stand with this narrative that the opposition parties are painting that is actually political persecution ahead of 2027?
Well, thank you very much. It's not a debatable issue. 2027 is already mapped out for, it's going to be Nigerians against bad governance. And Nigerians have decided on the platform to propel that movement. It's going to be massive. Nigerians will all be out to make a key decision at the poll come 2027. You know, in our climate, it's where you have, when Mr. A is in Party A, because he's a member of Party A, that is the ruling party, he is seen as a saint. But when the same Mr. A leave the Party A to Party B, then he's seen as the devil. Nigeria political leading political party. It's just like a man who remembers one of the refusals, the earlier refusals of his wife when he was trying to cut the wife many years ago. Any day a terrible man decides to or want to punish his wife, he remembers one of the very first refusals that the woman gave him before later accepting. So it is not new. It is not unseen. It has been so. But come 2023, it is not for the coalition party, ABC, as my comrade has pointed out, it is not for the ADC to come and display its strategy to the public. But when we get to that point, Nigerians will decide. It is not about propaganda. It is not about media adverts. The Nigerians are already prepared and ready. It's going to be Nigerians against bad governance. So I wouldn't want to discuss much about strategies and how ADC will go about that.
Okay, well, you mentioned twice, actually. You've said it at the beginning of your statement, and you also said it now before you ended, that Nigerians, it's going to be Nigerians against bad governance come 2027. But I will ask, actually, how sure are you that Nigerians would actually come out to vote against, or to vote against what you call bad governance? Because we've heard some Nigerians actually say, with all of what is happening, they would rather stay in their house on that day and not their houses and not come out to vote. But you hear you saying that you know that Nigerians are going to vote against bad governance. What makes you so certain that Nigerians would really come out to say they want to actually vote, or have they gotten to that point where they want to actually say they want to vote against bad governance?
Okay, thank you very much. If you take a look at what happened in 2023, February 25th, 2023, the masses came out in their numbers to cast their votes. But the electoral umpire decided to give the result in the middle of the night. Betrayed the hope of the people. And that is why the masses have been asking that the government in power, the National Assembly, should do the needful. The needful is to give Nigerians opportunity to have real-time online result transmission. If you look back at the recent election that took place at the federal capital, you believe with me there is a particular result sheet that a particular political party is called 121. And it is written both in word and in figure. But later on, after so much manipulations, you have 1219. Metamorphosizing from 121 to 1219. That is one of the reasons that Nigerians may think of vote apathy, when their votes will not count. But if you can give Nigerians, if you allow Nigerians to cast their votes and let their votes be counted, definitely we all know the result. If the party in power is not afraid of what the people can decide at the poll, they should give the people of Nigeria real-time online result transmission.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll come back to you. Let me come back to the studio. Mr. Fanimo, some persons have actually said that institutions in Nigeria are now being used as tools by the political, political power, extensions rather of political power by the people, the federal government and all of that. Do you actually feel like institutions in Nigeria, the ICPC, the EFCC, do you think they're acting independently? Or would you, do you think that there's a perception, or do you agree with that perception that they're being used as an extension of political power? We've seen their cases of Malami, who is still in court today, cases of El-Rufai, who is the latest, all of that have made people question how non-partisan our institutions have become, if they are still rather non-partisan.
You see, it's a lovable position. And I'll give you a clear reason for you to consider it as laughable and not plausible at all. politicians and corrupt elements that are politically exposed in this country, most times when they are caught in the web of corruption, the first thing they raise, the alarm they raise is, it is because I'm in opposition. It is because I'm in opposition. Is it not even better for you to be careful and mindful of your activities in government when you know that you are in opposition? An average thief in this country will say, why me? Now, the question to drive this point home, if there is one person that is considered as the most visible opposition in this country today, it's P2B. Why have they not arrested P2B? Why have they not brought charges against P2B? Who is Malami compared to P2B post 2023? Who is El Rufai that they went to organize one kangaroo protest in Kaduna? Can Southern Kaduna ever forgive El Rufai? You see, all these things. You see, if the people of Kaduna had wanted to show love to El Rufai, they would have shown love spontaneously, immediately the man was arrested. Now, having spent 10 days in detention, some people just arrange a small group, induce them, and say they want the man to be free. What kind of freedom is that? You have committed 3 layers of offenses. There is terror charge against you, there is cyber crime, and there is theft against you. You have been accused. ICP is pursuing theft. EFCC is pursuing sponsorship of terrorism. DSS is pursuing what you openly said with your mouth, and even close that particular statement saying, I know it is illegal. And then you are now saying because you are in opposition, that's why somebody is after you. It's just somebody, somebody who has been stalked for delicacy. The next thing you do is you douse yourself with oil and all the ingredients, and then you go near the fire, and then you just, what else do you want? It's just a push into the fire, and then you become a sumptuous meal. So why did he do all those things? Because he is suffering from delusion of grandeur in psychology. He's so deluded that he feels that those powers he was wielding when he was FCT minister, destroying people's house, destroying people's life, and the power he had in Kaduna for 80 years, that he didn't allow even Jerusalem pilgrims, Christian pilgrims, to travel for 11 years. It was Obasanjo that just lifted that ban recently. Southern Kaduna people were slaughtered every day. You didn't find solution to it. Obasanjo came, and there was respite in those communities. So who is he to tell us that it's because he's in opposition? If El Rufai had been cleared when he went to the Senate, you think he would be in this opposition? No. If Amechi had been invited to come and chop, would he be in opposition? The only person I see that may not even take anything from Tinubu is Atiku and P2B. They stood apart, not these disgruntled elements that they just saw themselves in the midst of genuine opposition and then wanted to cash in, just like that keke rider that became a member of House of Reps, and he collected 160 million SUV and didn't have any recourse to his party that sponsored him to that place before he defected. So what are we talking about?
But if you say all of this, but why, if you put it aside, most persons who have talked about this perceived partisanship of our institutions. When you look at someone like Yahaya Bello,
the question you ask yourself is, those people that have been charged to court by ICPC, it is the onus is on them to prove that I didn't commit this offense, not to come to the media space and begin to plead, they are after me, they are witch-hunting me.
But why is someone like Yahaya Bello still...
Yahaya Bello is still in court.
But yes, we know he's still in court, but it looks like he's been shielded, sort of, because yes, he's still in court, but the other time he was allowed to travel, which if it was somebody in the opposition who is still in court, something like that might not have, permission like that might not have been granted.
I agree with you. I am not saying that government will not be hard or harder on opposition than those within them. But what I'm saying is, if Peter Obi had not minded himself when he was in government, by now he would be in jail. That's a single example that makes rubbish of everything they are saying. Former governor of Ekiti State, Segun Oni, when he lost in the court and Fayemi came into government, the first thing they asked Fayemi is, are you probing your predecessor? He said, why would I probe him? Even when I was outside of government, I was monitoring him. And there is nothing that I can hold against him. He said this was a man that on the day of that judgment, the security vote had been withdrawn. He was in his house, in the government house. And as soon as that judgment was read, he ordered his aides to return that money, several hundreds of millions of naira, to the treasury of the state, and that nobody should take a dime out of it. So what are you going to prosecute about that kind of person? He who must come to equity must come with clean hands. These hands are too dirty. Don't let anybody deceive you by saying because he's in opposition. If you know that you are in opposition, why did you steal?
Okay, let's go back to our virtual guest. Let's look at the renewed call by the president for state police, and that's one of the things that I read out while I was reading. What would you think has actually stalled this amendment? First, as I'm actually referring to you, I'm sure you're still with us, right? What would you think that, yes, we know that the relationship the president has with the National Assembly seems to be a very platonic relationship, for lack of a better word. But how come they've not set the ball rolling from the time he started talking about state police, and why has this stalled up till now?
Okay, thank you very much. Before that, permit me to say a word in regards to what my fellow comrade has, some of the critical points he has raised, especially pertaining to, in quote, Mr. Peter Obi, whom he has described in his word, in resemblance as a saint, as far as Nigeria political terrain is concerned. The same Mr. Peter Obi is the same person that if he wants to have access to a certain environment in this country, a governor from that state will give stern warning. If you remember, some time ago when he visited Benue State to have access to the people who were destabilized, you remember what the governor of that state did say in regards to his safety. A few days ago, there was a threat to his life. The newspapers reported attempted assassination or attempted threat to his life. That same person who has been seen as a saint in Nigeria political terrain, the government in power has not sniffed out who are the people responsible in this, because this seems to some people as an attempt to shut the opposition, especially if the saints in quote
Okay.
in the opposition group are made to be quiet, what of the ordinary ones? That is, by the way, in terms of the state police. Well, state police has its pros and cons. It has advantage, it has disadvantage. One of the advantages is that it will fast track the ability of the police to investigate matters without waiting for the central police authority to authorize such step or such assignment. But, you know, because of our climate, it is obvious that some of the governors, if not all, will take advantage of this state police to witch hunt their political opponents, to deal with their political opponents. So it is dicey. Nigeria is still evolving. Nigeria is still evolving. I think with regards to that state police, it is neither here nor there. Thank you.
Okay, so I would I would be right actually if I say that you don't support the state police.
At this moment, we are not ripe for such because the governors will abuse it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come to you, Mr. Fanimo. The call for, we know that there have been renewed calls for state police, and the president had mentioned it sometimes, like few times. But would you say that this, would I call it this immediate or this rise in calling for this, is it about 2027? Is it a way of the president trying to be in the good books of Nigerians? Do you think so? Or do you think it's just about, like he said, the evolving security threats that we have in the country today?
You see, I don't know your community in the Southeast. But let's take it as community A. Now, I've never been to your community. If you and I were to be policemen, I mean the federal police as currently constituted, and then there's a creation of state police, and you and I are posted to your community, who would acclimatize and integrate into that community faster between you and I? It is you. Because you know Mazi, so. You know the Eze. And when they see you, they recognize you. Even if you have never been to that village, somehow, somebody will say, this one resembles Mazi, so. You must be the daughter. They will receive you. But no matter how sociable I am, if I get to that your community, it will take me about 6 months for that community to accept me. The fact that I'm not from that environment will make them feel uncomfortable, and I have to show some level of integrity and relationship for this community to accept me. That's the perfect analogy for the state police. If I get to my community tonight, if I hear gunshots, I can trace where that gunshot is coming from. I can guess the bad boys around that place and tell the police, go after this, go after this, go after this. By the time you arrest them, one of them must confess that he knows about this. That is the essence of state police. The father of that DPO was probably a farmer. He knows the forest. The uncle, who probably is a hunter, knows the reserve where he goes hunting for game. But somebody new to that community relies solely on the natives' intelligence to be able to do his job. Now, most of these attacks are targeted at vulnerable, far-flung communities. But we have somebody from that community, the man that is going to make a call, will call him straight. Say, Nena, they are attacking our community now. You don't need to ask, where is your community? Because you already recognize that person. And say, okay. Then you go to your DPO and say, Oga, you know this is my community. They are attacking the community now. How can we get there? You are going to be the one to lead the patrol team to rescue your people. But somebody from Adamawa, he would have to begin to ask questions. He might even use more than 20 minutes for you to even explain to him where the community is. That is the essence of having state police. So for me, we need state police. And operative of the state police will be empathetic to the various communities where they operate. And some of them will commit their lives to ensuring that such thing does not happen. Because the mother may be in that village, the father may be in that village at that moment. But anybody outside your state will feel less concerned. On the flip side, you're talking about governors influencing the state police. That's not true. The truth about it is, today, these federal police you see, they are just federal police on paper. It is most of these governors that are sponsoring them, buying cars for them, buying ammunition, buying safety jackets, and all that for them. So are they truly federal police? So, even if they are going to abuse, let's first try it. And then let's see the abuse. We will curb the abuse. And then things will get better. And then a policy does not take absolute shape at inception. It takes time for you to be able to do certain things, because there are some unforeseen scenarios that will play up, that you have to adjust, you have to blend, you have to move, you have to change policy, you have to change clauses that enables that policy to take shape and all that. And over time, we'll fine-tune and get our bearing. After all, there was state police, there was local authority police in this country. So why is it difficult for us to do it now? So for me, I go with state police.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Let's move on to our next conversation. Opposition political parties have unanimously rejected the 2026 Electoral Act recently passed by the National Assembly and signed into law by President Bola Tinubu. Opposition parties who made us call during a press briefing to address the state of democracy in the nation demanded that the National Assembly immediately begins a fresh amendment process to remove what are described as all obnoxious provisions in the law. The further called on the National Assembly to ensure that the act reflects only the will and aspiration of Nigerians for free, fair, transparent, and credible electoral process in the country, adding that nothing short of this will be acceptable to Nigerians. And let me come to you first, Festus, though I know you already mentioned a bit about this while you were speaking the other time. But what do you make of the opposition's rejection of I'm sure you're part of the opposition. This has been the State Secretary of ADC. But what do you make of this opposition's rejection of the Electoral Act 2026?
I think I am in total support of the rejection. The National Assembly has capacity to give us electoral act that will be able to provide free, fair, credible election, whereby the vote of the people at the poll will actually decide who presides over the leadership of either the country, the state, or the local government. It is not where the people's decision, the people's choice is kept behind, and the judiciary will become the one that will decide on who rule the people. So I'm in total support of that media briefing that took place earlier today. Before I go further, sorry, in regards to the governors and the state police.
Okay, I think we have gone beyond.
Sorry, just a second. A particular governor whipped when a particular community was attacked. A community called Nimbo in Uzowan in Enugu State was attacked. The governor made frantic effort to call the higher authority of the police, but he didn't get the backup. So, if you look at, we have Amotekun in the southwest. We also have Ibibago in the southeast. These are resemblances of state police. How have they performed? Okay. That question should be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fanimo, I wanted to speak to this rejection by the opposition of the Electoral Act. Do you see anything coming out of this unanimous rejection?
Well, that rejection would have resonated more if it was coming from the civil society organization, because political meanings would have been read to it if it's coming from opposition. But that does not mean that they wouldn't have their say as to the amendment or otherwise of the law. But one thing is, I will support continuous engagement. We have not gotten it to the level that we can say uhuru, but let them continue to engage government, and perhaps they will see reasons why some of these clauses should be amended. I was of the opinion that given the enormous resources allocated to the next election, I would have expected INEC, even in spite of the fact that there is this gap of where electronic transfer is not possible, that they should use manual. I want INEC to live up to Nigerians' expectation by ensuring that the failure of this electronic transfer method is so minimal that it will defeat the argument that politicians actually wanted manual transmission for rigging. So the onus is on INEC. Now that the law has been passed and been accented to by the president, it will take a long while for an amendment to take place. But we should target the electoral umpire. Make sure that we also, in some places, we should even support INEC, even if it requires turning our router, carrying our router to those places and putting it on. Say, okay, use the 50 gig in this to transmit whatever you want to transmit. At least for us to have a credible election. I don't support an election that is opaque, that people cannot ascribe to. Look at Ghana. Ghana conducted presidential elections. They never went to court. Why should all elections be decided by courts in Nigeria? I don't support that. I want a credible, free, and fair election.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your submissions. And thank you, Festus Duru, for being a part of the issues as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all we have for today's episode of The Issues. We explored the challenges facing Nigeria's politics and governance. Thank you for being a part of it. Don't forget to tune in next time for more in-depth analysis and discussion. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on the latest news and insight. Until next time, stay informed. I am Nnenna Ndomdioto, and this has been the issues on Voice of the People Television, where the future faces forward. Please don't forget to stay tuned for Hashtag with Vivian by 8 p.m. Don't go away.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories. From missing funds to policy failures, we ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging 1-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
I'm Sarah Nystrom from Sweden, aka Chief Omobawale, Communication Queen. Keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, I'm Samantha Jacobs, representing the States. Miami's in the house, and I want to make a shout out to VOP TV. I'm a humanitarian, and I'm also a rep in the film industry and the art industry. I help dreams come true, and I help you keep on that path. Shout out to VOP TV because you're helping people stay on their path too. Cheers.
All right, my name is John Odibo. Keep watching Voice of the People because it's a fantastic station to be with all the time. Thank you very much.